Hi everyone, my name is Casey and welcome to my YouTube channel. We'll talk all things fragrances, and today we're going to be talking about the Naseem perfumes. In the last episode we talked about some lovely perfumes like Love Me Now, Wild Obsession. If you're interested, go and watch that video. But today we'll be talking about another set that I got on the Naseem perfumes. So starting with the first one, which will be Wild Impulse. I actually have my notes here, that's why I'm flicking. Just a second. Okay, got them. So for the first perfume, here we have Wild Impulse. I'll put it here. These are quite awkward to spray, I find. They're so tiny. But Wild Obsession is very aromatic and green and aquatic, dare I say, aquatic or blue. Yeah, it leans very much to that side of stuff, and it doesn't shy away from those notes. I think those are the most dominant notes. And then so that's kind of, so that aquatic, that blueness, that greenness comes from the lavender and the thyme that's in the top. You have some bergamot that's like tied to this like sweet rosy perfume just a little bit in the base, but like that bergamot is quite strong, and it just is almost as strong as the lavender and the thyme and the bergamot. So that's what's given that push. You have patchouli in the back as well. So I don't know if you can tell, but like these notes really kind of are typically used in more masculine sense. Like if that's the kind of way they're brought more sharper, that kind of characteristics you find in like traditionally masculine perfumes. It does have a bit of moss kind of rounding it up and making it a little bit sweeter. There's some pink pepper here that's adding a little bit of a punch. I always find like pink pepper or pepper in these perfumes like adds like a little dustiness, you know, that dustiness that pepper has. And there's some leather right at the bottom, but the leather is not like, you know, out there. So when I was looking at the notes, they said this smelled like Dior Sauvage, but I actually don't really know Dior Sauvage like that. I don't really know masculine scents like that, so you can imagine that's where it goes to. But to me personally, would I wear this? Actually no, because just those sharp notes are actually giving me a mild headache. But like I do think it's quite like in the middle. Like I do think like if you're comfortable with those notes, they are balanced off by a little bit more sweetness. So if you like, yeah, a little bit more sweetness and rosiness, and there's like a musky kind of vibe that gives off. And I think that's from the jasmine that's giving it like a soapy feel. So yeah, that's Wild Obsession. It really kind of projects. I'm actually surprised, I have to say, with these, like I was pretty surprised by how projecting they were. They weren't like crazy, but like I could smell them on me while I was moving around for like 2-3 hours, and then they kind of die down to more skin scents after maybe the 6th hour. Like none of them were like beast mode. No, they weren't anything like that, but they're great for like sensitive skin and well, maybe not sensitive skin. I'm not a dermatologist, don't trust me. But like if oil kind of irritates you or whatever, like these are really good because they're water-based. And they actually come off a little bit milky. If you can see, they're white. But like, again, these perfumes don't take away from the complexity at all. So next perfume is Lost in the Woods. Right, sorry. Next perfume is Lost in the Woods. Okay, so this is, I don't know why all of a sudden I'm smelling like a beer. Like, yeah, like a beer kind of alcohol, like not alcohol and like alcohol perfume kind of smell, but more of like actual alcohol, kind of boozy. But it's not strong. I think honestly that's coming from the blend of patchouli and jasmine. I think that's what it's coming from. And again, these are very aromatic and green. This one is not aquatic, but it's more like woodsy, piney, like just imagine those green kind of scents that like typical guys would wear, you know. So it has benzoin, an amber. I can't really smell the benzoin. I can smell the amber's effect. Like I always find like the amber, like the wood earth, like makes it smooth and a little bit more earthy, but I find amber kind of lifts it up. It's a little bit more translucent, but like heavy at the same time. And deep, actually deep is a better word rather than heavy. This has some musk and some ginger. You can really smell that musk. That ginger is kind of there. Just, I think it just gives it some complexity, and it's actually in harmony with the lemon. So it's like the two of them are playing the same note, if that makes sense. So here it says that the perfumes are similar to Effin' Fabulous and Roja, but if I'm to remember well, I don't think Effin' Fabulous smells anything like this. Or maybe I'm not remembering it well, but to me, like from what I remember, like maybe some notes, like I can kind of see where that was coming from. Like in the very base, the approach of the musk and the approach of the musk full stop is giving it that Effin' Fabulous vibe. I found Effin' Fabulous to be a little bit powdery, if I remember well, but this is not powdery. This is not powdery. It's blue and aquatic and sharp and maybe watery, but not powdery. It doesn't give me, and also I found Effin' Fabulous was more on the bland side and very unisex in the sense like it didn't push too far to the other side. Like it wasn't too piney and woody, and it wasn't too floral. It was just kind of bland, like I guess that's a bit like just straight back in the middle, not too much of anything. Whereas this one clearly pushes more to the woody, to the piney, to the blue notes than it does to like the florals and the musk. Like that's just a supporting act. But I will say one thing I love about Naseem Perfumes, again, they do have that balance. So it adds like a little bit of edginess. So anybody could wear this and maybe be comfortable. Like it's not as the safe blind buy if say you like the floral, musky, sweet fragrances only. But if you wanted to kind of adventure out, I do think they allow a little bit of flexibility because they do have those musk notes and they do have sometimes the roses and a sweetness that kind of balances the aquatic, but still I find this leans very aquatic. Okay. Second perfume is Turn Up the Volume. Okay. So when I smelled this, it brought back some crazy memories. Okay, not that crazy, but so it has sweet pineapple and patchouli. The sweet pineapple in this, imagine the one in Caid for Alfresan. That's the one that's in here with patchouli. And then, but it's, the pineapple there was a little bit sharper and, the patchouli was sharp, but this is a little bit smoother and juicier, I find. It's the pineapple is not really struggling for attention, but you can still smell it, There's some Abroxan here that it gives it like a transparent vibe. Like imagine that transparent vibe and that I don't know, that kind of metallic and sweet and transparent vibe that you get from Baccarat Rouge. That kind of Abroxan, but that's not to say they smell the same. I'm just saying like that's the kind of interpretation they took on that Ambroxan smell. And then you have some lavender, which I don't like lavender at all, but I find it just leans way too herbaceous and my head just gets a headache. Yeah, so I feel like that lavender really pushes it off to the green, bitter, blue, woody kind of scent. And they say this smells like Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne. I haven't smelled that either. I'm not really into designer fragrances like that. I don't know, it just doesn't. Yeah, I guess also the stuff I'm interested in just never like, I don't know. I just don't really go there. So I might try, but that's for another day. But yeah, this is very lovely. Like I really loved how the pineapple really starts to kind of sing further on into the perfume, which I really wished Caid for Alfresan did. Whereas I found like Caid Alfresan just kind of stripped away the pineapple to some point and just left it green. I do think these are similar, and if you like Caid Al Farsan, you'd like this, only this has that jasmine and more of a herbal, greener note, if that makes sense at all. But yeah, I do think they're very close together. And then the last one is Urban Beat. Let's smell it. Okay, so Urban Beat has some jasmine, some musk, and some aldehydes, right? So to me, aldehydes kind of smell like detergent. And I can smell that at the top with the musk. And then the jasmine gives, like, it's almost like the same jasmine and, okay, maybe it's just me, but I get jasmine and lavender mixed up. But it's like that same kind of edgy herbal jasmine that I smell in here. There is some rose that kind of sings in the back, but it just kind of balances off things that actually plays a big part, you know? And it smells very clean. The perfume smells very clean. There's some orris in here, and it gives it like clean, smooth, that kind of fluffy texture. But that's not to say the perfume is, you know, fluffy, but in the mid, like the body of it is kind of fluffy, and then, but it does have those sharp aromatic scents. Again, this has patchouli and moss, and I think that pushes it to the greener. I think it's the jasmine, the patchouli, and the moss that are pushing it that side. But then it's really interesting because then the amber and so if I was to group this into like a choir of two parts, you have the aldehydes, the musk, the rose, the amber that are like kind of making it sweet, making it fluffy, making it floral, also some orris on that side. And then this side you have like a complete contradiction, which is like jasmine and moss and patchouli, which are a little bit harsher and have a lot to say, and put them together and they're singing quite good. So it's like one doesn't take away from the other, but there's a clear part that they're all playing. And in fact, that fluffiness kind of is a base, the same way that sometimes you have rose and oud is the base, but rose is the one singing. I hope that's making sense. Yeah, so those are all the perfumes. I think most of these are quite more herbaceous, quite blue, that kind of thing. They're not sweet. They're not sweet in the sweet way. They're not completely floral. They're more kind of strong statement, like all that kind of thing. And yeah, I hope you really liked it. Oh, for performance, I would also put this to 68. They do project. You can kind of smell them. They create like a scent bubble, but actually maybe it's not project. They have a scent bubble, but I don't know how much they project. And I wouldn't think they do very well. I think the most you would get out of the performance of these is like maybe 6 hours. And for me personally, that's probably why I wouldn't consider these, but there's definitely a place and time. And what I love about these is you can put them in your hair, you can put them on your skin, like it's so handy to have like water-based perfume. Like I think it's so handy, even one. So yeah, I hope you really liked it, and I can't wait to catch up with you guys soon enough. If you haven't watched the other episode of me talking about the Naseem perfumes, go and watch that, and stay tuned until I come back with some more reviews.